peacefully at the age of 85. Now, travelling up to us a couple of days ago from Dublin, Mike Breslin is one of the staff at the Dublin Homeless Centre. And Mike's job there is to work 6 days a week, 5 days a week. I think it's 5 days a week. The centre's open 6 days a week, so sometimes he'd work Monday to Friday, sometimes he'd be working the weekend. Mike Breslin of the centre, he came up. And the centre, of course, founded by Brother Kevin, a Dublin Capuchin monk. He's a Franciscan, 49 years ago, and reaching out to the poor and the homeless and the hungry in Dublin. And it's coming into very sharp focus at this time of year. So when Michael Breslin came up, called into us in studio, and this is what we heard.
Destination Newry. We're back in moments.
Yes, it's a real pleasure, a privilege to welcome into studio Mike Breslin from, you're a Dubliner, but you claim Wexford ancestry. Your father is a Wexford man.
That's right, Rowan, yeah.
You've been in Dublin all your life. You were born in Dublin.
I was.
Yeah. And you're now, we meet in another situation entirely. You're with the Dublin Homeless Centre. How did that all begin for you and when?
At the time, it wasn't really on the radar for me, Rowan. I kind of stumbled into it. A relative of mine worked in Brother Kevin's centre, and she informed me of a job vacancy that was going there.
Yeah.
So I went in and had the interview with the man himself, and 6 years later, and still there, haven't looked back since. I kind of took to it like a duck to water, you know.
Suits you very, very well.
It does, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily have thought so at the time, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it kind of something stuck with me, and it's all I want to do now, to be honest.
Yeah. What's an interview with Brother Kevin like?
It's informative, put it that way. But no, he's a great man. You know, he's receiving the freedom of the city next year, and it's well deserved. You know, he's a great man, and everything that he does is for the good of the people of that city, like 100%. You know.
Yeah. There's no second agenda.
No.
It's all focused on the people.
100%. He's doing a marvelous job. You know, he really has. He's developed a legacy for himself that he's living through at the moment, and it can be seen in that place every day when you walk in. You know. 6
days a week.
Yes.
It's amazing. Now, the number of meals that are provided. Tell me the breakdown. What way does it work?
It opens from 9 o'clock till 11:30 in the morning, and people come in for their breakfast. There's the likes of, you could have pudding, rashers, eggs, sausages, a good old hearty breakfast. It closes up then at 11:30. The lunch is prepared. Lunch is served from 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and there could be anything up to 600 people in for dinner.
It's a big need being met. It's a huge service.
It's a massive operation, you know, and not just the dinners. Like on a Wednesday morning, there's parcels handed out, which contain kind of weekly groceries, the likes of like essentials like bread, butter, cheese, you know. And from when I started there, you do maybe 300, and then I could see clearly the recession hitting, and it just absolutely ballooned. And now you're looking at 1,800 parcels easily, you know, on a Wednesday morning.
On a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And that's all, you have to do that. You have to prepare the parcels and make them up.
Yeah, all the volunteers, there's volunteers that come in at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday morning with some of the staff, and they work away. During the week, all the deliveries are brought in and it's all prepared, but on the actual day, there's a guts of 15, 20 people in at that time, and they're preparing the bags, and it's like a mountain of these blue bags getting ready to hand it out at 9 o'clock.
I notice that one of the folk, Michael, he goes out in the white van around the bakeries, and he brings back the most beautiful artisan bread imaginable.
That's right.
This is bread that's left over, and we get it at the centre.
We do, yeah. That's been going on since I started there. There's also there's a company called Heart to Hand.
Yes.
I think they're from Wexford, who every Friday deliver huge amounts of yogurts that they get left over from various different companies. All beautiful stock, all in date, you know, and they go into the bags, and they're also given out at lunchtime as well for dessert.
Yeah. The nature of the people who are coming, what are you getting? What kind of folk are coming to you?
I've learned from going there never to second guess anybody, you know. You could have anybody in there. Some of the most intelligent, articulated people I've ever met use that service, you know. There's also, you know what I mean, you have your people that are going through tough times, you know. Alcoholism, mental health issues, drug addiction. But it's hard to pigeonhole everybody into one particular kind, you know. But when you meet them, you realise, you know, that they're, you know, I mean, they're just average, ordinary people like me or you, you know.
I think the one pigeonholing that's possible is to say that you've some very, very broken people, and you've some people who are persevering and coming through it and coming out of it. But some of them may not come out of it.
No, and that's a difficult part of the job, Rowan, you know. You would always have hope for everybody, you know. You need to, you have to, you know. But there are some situations that are desperate, you know, and dire. And the best thing that you can do is just offer them an ear, you know, and offer them, you know, I suppose a kind of a way of looking at things that's non-judgmental, and just being there for that person at that particular time.
Yes, yes, indeed. And you mention an ear. It's almost as important as the food, that you'll sit down at their level across the table and have an exchange of chat.
Yeah, I think so. You see, you know what I mean, in terms of needs, with the food, you're meeting the basic needs. You know, we all need a bit of grub in our belly, you know what I mean? But beyond that, I mean, you have these people that are marginalised, you know, so it's important to treat them as any other individual. Like, I remember there was one chap before that told me that, he said to me he could get a couple of quid together to go into McDonald's and have a burger, but they wouldn't let him eat it in there, you know. So that's the difference with the centre, you know. That's the ethos, is there's no questions asked, everybody's welcome, you know.
And they're welcomed where they are, as they are. There's no requirement on them to be polite, or well, good behaviour is always welcome, but you take folk at the level they're at, and that can be very, very problematic at times.
It can be, but I think you need to do that, and that's the ethos of the centre, you know. There's from my own studies, within the homeless agency sector, there's an awful lot of red tape and bureaucracy, you know, and that can tie things up and slow things down. Whereas the beauty of the centre is that it's immediate, it's there, and you come in, you don't have to give your name or anything like that. It's just you're straight in, you know, and that's one of the advantages of the centre.
Michael, well, what motivates you? Are you a believer in a God, for example, or are you a Christian person, or what drives you forward?
I don't know, Rowan. I'm not a practicing religious person. You know, I do believe in a God, but like I'd be a bit of a hypocrite to say that I was a follower of a religion in that sense. I don't know, Rowan. It's just something that maybe I have in me. I just think that it's as a people, if we're going to develop as a people, then we have to look after each other, you know, and it's not just a sense of, in a broader sense, it's even something like just saying hello to a homeless person on the street. Something simple, you know, but just like we have to get away from this idea of a kind of a consumerist type attitude, you know, and just start looking after people as they are, you know.
Wish you good luck.
Thank you, Ron.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Thank
Go
you.
well.
Destination Newry. We're back in moments.
Bellini's Bar and Restaurant, Merchants Quay, Newry. Experience the passion of Bellini's in our Venetian-themed bar and restaurant, home of great